Ladies and gentlemen of the internet, I have a dream. A celestial dreamer by WooSah. Still got a little bit of paint in my hands. That's because we're doing this as fresh. So, I haven't shown this on YouTube yet. So depending on when you're watching this, you're either watching this after I've published it, which means these have all been shipped out and people have got them, or you PM'd me and I sent you this link so you could get kind of a closer look at it because you're someone that pre-ordered one or just kind of wanted to see it before it was released. So this is the one that I did first that started it all. It is a Elite. So it's a stainless steel, and it is a 608 version. It's one I've had for a little while, and I just did this. Chris Branch came out with the idea of doing the, what he called the Dreamer series, so he just sent blank slates and wanted people in the community to paint them up. And I kind of was a little late to the party, didn't realize what was what, but I said, well, there's no reason I can't paint up the one I've already got. So I painted this up. People seem to like it. People seem to dig it enough that Chris Branch reached out to me. I wanted to see if we wanted to do a little pre-order on some. So we did a pre-order for 10, and I've painted them up, and I'm going to show them to you. So if you ordered one and you want to be surprised, look away. Now, for the most part, I went with a standard color, but I did do two kind of separate ones and a couple different buttons on a couple of them just to kind of practice and see what goes out. So, but yeah, so this is my 608 one, the one that started it all. So I thought he deserved a little spot. Maybe we'll put him over here. So first things first, let's take a quick run through of some of the standard ones. So these are aluminums. With 608 one-drop bearings in them. I'm trying to be really gentle. The clear coat is definitely dry and ready to go, but I just want to be gentle with them. So, and I try not to go too thick with the clear coat because I know the tolerance for these buttons is pretty tight, and I just didn't want to have any rubbing. So it looks like there's plenty of clearance. And they spin pretty smooth. They spin really well. So this is my first time playing with aluminum WooSahs, is when I got these, and it's nice. So they should be pretty durable. The clear coat for the most part is pretty even. You can see it pulled up a little bit in some spots, but some are a little better than others, and it's just hard to get it exact. So so there's one. Let's show off another one here. So I'm not playing with them too much. I did put my initials just on one side of the button, just since, we're kind of calling it art, I should sign them. So, pretty nice. The clear coat does a lot for them too. It really makes the colors more vibrant. It makes the blacks blacker. Here's an example of just a little bit uneven with the clear coat, but you can't really tell too much when it's spinning. So, it just kind of is what it is. So this is kind of like a test run for me. It's the first time I'm trying to do kind of bulk painting. So if anybody's got any concerns, please reach out to me directly. You certainly can reach out to Chris, but reach out to me directly if you're unhappy with it or anything like that. I'm happy to work with you and see how we can resolve it, whether that be getting you your money back or seeing what we can do to fix it or what sort of compromise we can make. So hopefully you guys like them though. I'm pretty pleased with the way they came out. So the clear coat should be pretty durable. So I guess while we're taking a look at these, let's talk about the durability of these. So these definitely are somewhat durable for normal finger use. I've abused this one. I shouldn't say abused, but I mean I did a lot of really hard flicking, some kind of pressing with my fingernail, rubbing it up on things to see how durable it would be. Now I don't know what the difference might be with stainless steel versus aluminum, so hopefully it'll be all right. But for the most part, these things are pretty solid. The paint will definitely chip if it takes any sort of a drop or impact, or even kind of banging against a ring could do that. It's pretty durable, but at the same time, if you really pressed it with your fingernail, you could leave a dent in it. You definitely could scrape it off if you really tried. I don't know how well the finish holds up against certain food residues and stuff that are on your hands. So if you just ate a bag of Doritos, I might recommend washing your hands before you play with them. But I wanted them to be art, but at the same time still be usable. So you should be able to use and play with these guys within reason. But again, if you have any issues with them, please let me know. Even if you're fine with it and you don't care that it's got an issue, I want to know so that I can hopefully make that a better product if we continue to do these, which we're planning on doing more. So there we go. So that's the last of kind of the standard ones. Then I went with a couple different ones. So ones I kind of like the idea of doing a bunch of the different planets. Now, to be honest, though, most of the planets, when you look at them, aren't really kind of that recognizable or identifiable. I kind of went through them and was like, I'm not really sure how I feel. So let me show you this version here. One planet in particular I really enjoy painting and really like the way it came out. Look at that Jupiter edition. Really like the way that came out. So Jupiter was a fun planet to paint, but it's also pretty recognizable. You know, it's got that big swirl, it's got those fun lines going across it. So Jupiter's a go. Now, we also did I don't know if Mark Mullins pre-ordered one, I haven't gotten the list, but the Mark Mullins edition. This is the first one where I tried playing around with a different color for the nebulous. And I'm pretty pleased with it. I think I personally like the look of this better, but I do kind of like the way this pops. And this was essentially trying to paint Mars, but look at that. I mean, it doesn't really look like Mars isn't super identifiable just by looking at it. So it's, you know, it is what it is, but it's not, again, as identifiable as I would have hoped, and I don't think it looks as good as the moon. So, but there we go, Mars, the red planet. And then here's one. We need a little preamble here, a little preface for this guy. I wanted to do a bunch of different colors. I really wanted to try doing different nebulous colors and getting them out there. So the first one I tried, I knew I was going to do an orange, so I kind of just did that one. But the first one where I really played with it, I went with, instead of like a lot of the blues and purples, I threw a lot of green and blues in there, and not too much purple, just very little purple and red as an accent. But I did not like how it looked. So I just kept going with these. The funny thing is, the moment you clear coat this, the colors take a whole different effect. And now I went from being my least favorite to my favorite, and I'm sad I didn't do more. So look at this. Oh, I just love how that came out. So I threw Jupiter buttons on it. Love how this one came out, and I'm so sad I didn't do more of them. But let me tell you, it just did not look anywhere near as good until it got the clear coat on it. It's funny how that works. So. Do the buttons? It's hard to paint the buttons to get them to line up with the threads the way I have to hold them, so that one's pretty close, so I apologize that they're not probably too even. But that's just kind of the way it is. Is that a chip or anything? No, it's just painted that way. Painted with a little dark spot there. Painted so many of these, kind of lost my mind, so really happy with the way this came out. Look at the sides. So a couple of the details just to point out for you guys. We did a lot of airbrushing colors. Then in a lot of the airbrush, these are all hand-painted little nebuluses with like 3 or 4 different layers of different colors. So this one you can see the light blue, the dark blue, a little bit of white, some pink, some purples, some variations in there. We also got stars painted up in there. And then some of them, depending on which ones they are, have little shooting stars in them. It depends. Let me see if I can find one with a lot of shooting stars. This one, just the way the paint drops came in, if they went at an angle, I kind of put shooting stars in there. So there's little details to catch in there. There's a shooting star in that one. There's a couple of shooting stars in this one. So one last thing though I want to show you. Underneath the buttons, the tolerance is pretty good. So it doesn't look like it's going to have any rubbing issue, I don't think. But again, if you do see any rubbing, let me know. Maybe I can work with Chris to get some washes or spacers or have the buttons machined just a little higher. I'm not sure what is and isn't possible, but just so that that's not an issue. So again, even if it rubs and you don't care, please let me know if you have any issues at all. So one thing I do want to show you, the way the tolerance for these bearings is so tight that I really can't afford to get any paint on the inside of this ring. So I've got to use, basically this isn't what I use, but it's something like this to fit in there so that, so that it can be painted. But when you do that, a little bit of the paint wants to stick to that. So you can see this one, see that right there, how the paint kind of chipped off. Now it's hidden under the buttons. Some are a little worse than others. I tried to fix what I could. But the only way to really completely fix it is to strip the whole thing off and start over again. And then, oh, yeah, here's some good shooting stars. And then to do the whole thing over again, which I really didn't want to do, and it's a lot of work to strip that back off and start over and run through the whole process. So if you guys have any concerns with these under there, or it starts chipping and making things a lot worse, again, please let me know. So I'm really hedging my bets with this and really hoping they turn out as good as I'm hoping they will be, but I don't want anybody to feel like they're left out and stuck with it. So, I haven't tried cleaning with a lot. I think just a microfiber cloth should be all that you need because it's a clear coat. It shouldn't need much of anything. I still need to play around. I'll play around with mine and see if any finishes cause any issues with it. But any sort of eyeglass cleaner or LCD cleaner should be pretty safe on this, as well as anything like this where it's sensitive and I'm not sure. I usually use 50% I dilute Windex, so just maybe diluting some Windex will help you wipe it down if you have any issues. But hopefully they'll be all good and they'll be fine and good to go and everybody will be happy. So I'm not sure who's getting which one of what. I know I want to send one back to Chris as well just to have in the collection. So I don't know if I might do it with this one because it's the one-off versus sending it with one that's a little more standard, since that's kind of what's going out. So I haven't decided who's getting what. But anyway, that's the WooSah's Celestial Dreamers. So I've got some other ideas, but I think the plan moving forward is I'm going to get them ahead of time, get them painted up, and then have Chris drop them whenever he wants to drop them. So rather than being pre-orders, they'll be already painted. But if there is really a specific type or color that you want, don't hesitate to reach out, and I can, again, partner with Chris, and we can figure that out. There might be some delay in terms of turnaround time, 2, 3, 4 weeks, potentially, maybe even more, depending on how busy this goes and how many we try to do. Because ultimately, if someone wants one, I want someone to be able to get one. But at the same time, I have to realize my limitations with 2 kids and a full-time job. So I was on vacation this week, made it easy to paint these guys up. So maybe we can do. Can we get them all spinning? Can we do that? Can I leave you guys on them all spinning? We'll move this one out of the way because it's. And let me tell you, these aluminum just feel pretty heavy, all things considered. So I hadn't really played around with aluminum WooSahs. So if you're hesitant about aluminum, don't be with the WooSahs, y'all. It's nice. Let's keep them in frame. I should have been looking at the frame while I did this. Woohoo! All right, y'all. I'm going to leave you with that. Look at him span! Kisses, everybody. See ya. Bye.